scholars, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon, good morning, as where you are now. I greatly appreciate the session which Dr. Shahid Adivashi conducting since last couple of months. It's a very realistic, relevant, and very unique type of session, and not session, it is a global platform, and he is conducting summit since last few months. And I observed that the summit is very meaningful in respect of gaining knowledge, exchange knowledge, each of scholar all together and different professors across the globe, different scholars across the globe. So I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Professor Shahid, Dr. Shahid Adivashi and other professors, doctors who ever participated in this summit. Thank you so much. This summit directly, indirectly, actually connected to our sustainable development goal, because scholars who are participating in this summit, they are gaining knowledge, and accordingly they will act in their areas, locations. They are showing their outcome through the different process like research, entrepreneurship, innovations, and other different curriculums and activities. So for that, I really express my sincere thanks and gratitude, and I am grateful to you, all of you. If we talk about sustainable development goals, actually sustainable development is a crucial concept in today's world, as it focuses on meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It involves finding a balance between economic growth, environmental protections, and social well-being. So as a global citizen, we understand the importance of sustainable development and how it can be safe for our futures. So here, firstly, sustainable development recognizes that our planet has limited resources that must be consumed responsibly. Economic growth also is essential for improving the quality of life, but it should not come at the expense of our environment. In addition to environmental concern, sustainable development also takes into account social and economic aspects. It aims to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities, and provide equal opportunities for everyone. Also, furthermore, sustainable development encourages responsible consumption and production. This means using resources efficiently, minimizing waste, and recycling whenever possible, or reuse whenever possible. I mean 3R policy. We know very well that small action may seem insignificant, but when practiced collectively, they can have significant impact in conserving resources and reducing our carbon footprint. Because it is a joint effort, collective effort to reduce the carbon footprint. Actually, this is the actual aim. All sustainable development goals actually connected to carbon footprint mainly, and ecological footprints. So collectively we can conserve resources and reducing our carbon footprints. However, achieving sustainable development goals requires collective action from individuals, government, and businesses. Governments are responsible for implementing policies that support sustainable practices and address environmental issues. Businesses have an important role to play by adopting sustainable technologies and practices in their operations. As consumers, we can also make a difference by choosing sustainable products, supporting eco-friendly companies, and raising awareness about sustainable development. So Sustainable development is a vital concept for today's society as it aims to strike a balance between economic growth, environment protection, and social well-being as well. So finally, I can conclude that sustainable development is crucial for our planet and future generations. It involves finding solutions that balance economic growth, social well-being, and environmental protections by taking care of our natural resources and promoting social equality. We can work towards a more sustainable and for futures everyone. It is important for individuals, government, and businesses to come together and make sustainable choices to ensure the better world for all of us. So this is the joint effort for all together of global community, global citizens. So this platform actually very relevant in that perspective. So in that way, I appreciate Dr. Shahid Adibeshi, who has introduced this global platform to arrange a summit every week for research scholars, students, and professionals. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much for having that very recap and that very wonderful briefing to open this very session and also the last session for the month of March. And I want
Good afternoon, wherever you are. In fact, I had a problem with the mic and with the video. It was, for some reason, maybe it was not. So I'm so happy and honored to be part of this elite group. And, from my side, I think we have a lot to discuss. But due to Ramadan here now, things are a bit squeezed. So I would like to take maybe my take on the issues that you've discussed, and also maybe a bit of my personal experience. So do you want me to give that now, or what do you recommend, Dr. Said? And thank you again for the invitation.
yes, thank you. Are you comfortable to stay up to like 20 minutes? Maybe it is easier for you so that we can take Dr. Caderon, then we come back to you. Is it comfortable for you, sir?
No, well, in fact, I'm okay now because I'm not sure that I'll be there till local time here. It's a quarter to one, so most probably I will be squeezed in time. So let me just take 5 minutes of your time, not more than this, because you've asked me, and it was indeed an honor for me. You've asked me to share my experience, my life experience in professional life, maybe for our audience as well as since this is going to be recorded. So maybe for those who will be looking at it later on. So I think, well, first of all, just a quick intro to my background. I'm Lebanese Canadian. I started, and this maybe could be a good advice for our students. I've been teaching at university level since now 32 years. I know very well that success is a journey. It's not something that happens haphazardly. It doesn't happen because of an incident. No, it's a continuous effort that you put there. So I remember when I started. In fact, even my schooling, I was 4 years when I started the first grade. So I was ahead of my colleagues. I finished my baccalaureate, which is in Lebanon. This is in French, of course. So I was 16 years old. I joined the university. I was 17 years old, and I finished my bachelor and my master's. I was 21 years old, with the dean's list from State University of New York. Then I moved on with my studies. I had the civil engineering background, and then when we moved to my PhD, I asked my advisor. I said I wanted to have something that nobody else had it before me when we're talking about the PhD thesis. So he said, look, Nader, look at we have now a new science called robotics and artificial intelligence. And that was in 1986. So he said, look at it, and if you find yourself interested, why not going into that? And that's what I did, in fact. I went into the robotics. I stayed for 6 months reviewing literature about robotics. But then I found out that what is more important than the robot is the brain of the robot. So I stopped with the robotics, which gave me 6 months of full-fledged, knowledge about robotics, and I went into artificial intelligence. I remember I was at that time married, so I remember I used to tell my wife, "Do you think that there will come a time that people would look at my thesis and say, okay, this is artificial intelligence, let's try to use it." And there you go now. As you can see, everybody in the world is talking about AI. So I finished my PhD in AI in 1991. In fact, we were only two on the North American continent who were working on AI. I was in Canada doing because as I said earlier, I'm a Canadian. I was in Canada and I had one of my colleagues from South Africa, South Korea, who was doing his PhD also in artificial intelligence in Carnegie Mellon. So we were only two when you're talking about the North American continent. It was that few, that very small number. Then, in fact, when I finished my PhD, I received the National Research Distinction Award. And then afterwards, I said, okay, it's time to work in professional life. So I worked on, yeah, I missed to say that I had a double degree. I had a degree in engineering and a degree in management. With the artificial intelligence, it did support me to understand how the human brain works because, part of your AI, a very important part of your AI research is to mimic the human brain. So I had to study how our brains work, how we, interact, how we can work on articulations, how we work on sensors. That's how you can develop your AI engine. So afterwards, I went back to the Arab countries, and before that, in fact, I worked in the States because I continued my PhD in the States. When I received the National Research Distinction Award, I received like an offer, in fact, despite of the fact that I was a student, but I received an offer from one of the universities in the States that would like that you continue your research here. So I graduated from the States. I worked with an American company that worked with the U.S. Air Force, with the Department of Defense, with the Department of Treasury, very elite clients from whom we learned a lot on experience. And then I moved back to the Arab countries where I started working on business consulting and IT consulting. And by the way, no one knew unless except my employees, no one knew that we were using AI at that time. So many people now are scared of the AI, but in fact, AI has been doing business with me at least for more than 30 years, our tool that we used. In fact, we used the Zachman approach AI. We used enterprise architecture. We used neural networks. We used object-oriented tools. We started with rule-based expert systems, but then we developed it into neural networks. And now everybody that you can see around you are using the neural networks and object-oriented tools. So at that time, we did a lot of work with the governments, with the private sector. I remember one of the big projects that we did was a merger between two petroleum companies in Bahrain, and that was done also through an AI tool. We did the strategy of Al Bahrain state to move from Al Bahrain to the Kingdom of Al Bahrain. Also, we used the strategies, and I was surprised that you caught and you did put it in part of the announcement that I had some critiques to Dr. Kaplan and Dr. Norton, who were the founders of the balanced scorecard methodology. As a matter of fact, I worked on the balanced scorecard strategy methodology, which is almost a perfect methodology. I worked on that. They established it in 1992. In 1993, I was working on it already in the Arab countries and also in the US. And when you gain experience, and that's what I always tell to my students and to my kids, because I treat my students as if they are my kids. I tell them it's not about who is smarter, who works harder. I worked hard. I don't have, the word I'm bored does not exist in my dictionary. I always have something to learn from. I always have something to read. I read a lot. I learn a lot. Recently, I joined MIT. I mean, recently, since 5 years, I joined MIT in giving courses on taking courses on AI, on digital strategies. So life is a learning process, and I always recommend that people never stop learning, because if you stop working learning, then you start ignorance. It's either or. You cannot be knowledgeable and stop learning. So we did a lot of work. We did a lot of projects with elite companies, with governments. Then, in fact, my professional background brought me to become a mayor. And that was due to the fact that the Prime Minister of Lebanon, he was asking for somebody who is, good in the city development. And part of what I did was in the strategic planning and strategic management, is city development. Now, my background also as a civil engineer would help me understand what are the needs of the city, Added to that, with the tool of the PhD that I had with AI, then I have the strategy mind. I have the background as a civil engineer that knows what are the requirements for for quality of life in a city, and I have the tool, which is IT tool. But part of it was, in fact, the AI. So then I ran for elections in 2010, and in fact, my list won all of the seats, and we had a lot of big difference in the electoral bullets, when you're talking about the number of our people who elected us. So I became a mayor. I stayed there for 5 years, working on developments. It is the city of Tripoli in Lebanon. Then I was assigned by the advisor, by the minister, by the prime minister, in fact, to become his advisor for international cooperation. But before that, during my professional life, I had several options of being advisor. So I was advisor for the education minister. I was the advisor for the administrative reform minister. Also, all of those, I always say that you need to be, first of all, I mean, and let me conclude it with this: you need to be committed. You need to have persuasion. You need to embrace challenges. There are always challenges, but in fact, with a positive attitude, you overcome those challenges. Also, what supports becoming, overcoming those challenges, one of it is, of course, having your strategy, having your objectives. I mean, if you don't have an objective, if you don't have a strategy, and I use this word, this thing, I say, if you don't have a strategy, you never get lost, because you are already lost. When I say I got lost because I lost my direction. But if you don't have a direction, you never feel that you're lost. You already have no destination to direct your efforts to. So the very first thing that needs to be given to our students is to set a direction, to set an objective, to strive for that objective, to embrace challenges, and also I think this is very important. Other than enjoying successes, I think enjoying relationships with people. I mean, like, for example, now I'm so honored to be with you all. I never knew all of you before, but we are exchanging knowledge. And as a matter of fact, as a manager, I always say the most important managerial skill that a person should have is managing relations. How to tackle the relation with others, how to look at them from the positive side. We are all like the moon. We have the dark side, we have a white side, a bright side. So look at those from the positive attitude, and from the positive, the white and the bright side, and you will enjoy working with them. Other than that, in fact, in the professional career, I mean, we did a lot of work, and now recently, and I think this is what triggered you to put me with this highly esteemed group, is my work with AI. In fact, my AI PhD was so long way back. I mean, you're talking about almost 30 years. But what I had to do was to refresh my education. I took several courses to make sure that, yes, I am still on track with my AI tools and stuff like that. And I mean, this is one of the reasons of successes for people is stay persuasive with your objectives, strive for them, make sure that you have, oh yeah, that's a very important point, because now of course, I'm married. I have 9 grandkids. I have 4 kids. Keeping a balance of life. Many people, this is crucially important. And I think at my age, it's time to give this advice to others. Keep a balance. I mean, you can be highly professionally successful in your professional life, but you can have a lousy personal life. I mean, what gain do you get? This is bad. This is not good. And also, you can be on the other side. You can have what a wonderful family life, but you have a professional life, a successful one. So keeping a balance between your professional life as well as with your personal life, I think this will make you a successful human being. Because after all, we're not here just to do business and make money. That's a sustenance objective. Our main objective is to live happily, make those who are around us live happily, sustain those whom we are responsible for, to make them the best life possible, and live your life. So I travel a lot. I do a lot of cruising. I mean, I do a lot of traveling for tourism. I enjoy my life. I do play sports and stuff like that. It is the balance of life. I don't know. I just wanted to squeeze things together and give you that encapsulation of my life as you requested, Dr. Said. And thank you again for listening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let
Thank
me
you.
just say that I actually allowed Professor Nadir, because we have had a conversation before we scheduled this very session, that he is going to squeeze time to actually attend to us. And that's the reason why I have given him that very coming exact time to also present. So, Dr. Cadero,
Thank you.
I'm very sorry for taking the time, but we are going to actually continue the rolling. Then we are going to have a technical timeout in the next 2 minutes. We are going to have technical timeout in the next 2 minutes. We are going to rejoin back with the same link. We are going to rejoin back with the same link. So when we rejoin back, we are going to take the presentation of Dr. Adero. But before the timeout occurs, there is this very question I want to quickly ask Professor Nadir. You are now in UAE. What has been the connection of your journey from Canada to Lebanon, from Lebanon throughout the world, then have a base in UAE within a minute?
Well, that's a very good question. In fact, the UAE, I think, currently has become the hub of the world. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I mean, look at the nationalities that do present and reside in the UAE. It will tell you the story. I mean, the UAE on its own is a success story that we can learn from. And allow me to say a few words about the leadership of the UAE. A part of what I teach at the schools, at the universities, is corporate leadership. And of course, part of the leadership types is the visionary leaderships and transformation leaderships. In fact, in the UAE, you have both a visionary and a transformational leadership that coexist together. The leadership of the country has made the country, and now this is the 54th year of joining the union of the UAE. The UAE is made up of 7 emirates. They were before 1971. They were small tribes, small emirates, each one of them mining his own emirate, and that's it. Each ruler mining his own emirate. When the Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, the founder of the Ittihad, of the Union of the United Arab Emirates, he said, wait a minute, we cannot do it like this. We stay in tribes, we stay, standalone emirates. Each emirate has its own business. Why don't we get together? So in 1971, they started the Union of the Emirates, which then became the United Arab Emirates of the seven Emirates. These seven Emirates, in fact, some of them, they have a lot of resources. Meanwhile, others, they don't. Okay. And what I mean by that, I mean, Abu Dhabi has it is almost 80% when we're talking about the surface area. It is 80% of the Emirates as compared to the other six Emirates. It has the oil, it has the wealth. Dubai, they had the oil and stuff like that. But they balanced, they shared. That's my point that I wanted to say. They said to themselves, I think I wasn't there, but I can see the reflection of this, that we can all prosper together. It's not only about me against you, it's us, So this leadership, in fact, I was trying to say, the UAE currently is really the hub of the world. Now, you can see from all over the world, people are coming, they are walking into work there to do partnerships. And this is due to the fact that this leadership that we were talking about, they gave all of the required factors of success. So, I mean, we love to live in an area where, when you're talking about the system, when you're talking about the transports, you're talking about government dealings, all of this is done in a perfect manner. I've been myself, as I said earlier, I travel a lot, and mainly to those big capitals of the world. Let me tell you very frankly and very honestly, I don't think that people in Paris, in New York, in London, you name it, they live in a better system than people are living in Abu Dhabi. The government is there to support the residents as well as the citizens. Of course, this is on the quality of life, and maybe I should draw to your attention two main issues. The very first one, when we're talking about the security and safety of the cities, Abu Dhabi now is the safest city in the world. This is the 7th year in a row, as per the United Nations reports. 7th year in a row, they are the safest city in the world. When you're talking about green areas, when you're talking about road furniture, street furniture, they are getting into the top of the top. Moreover, when it comes to AI and digital technologies, I mean, these guys, they had it, and they have in mind to be on the very top 5 in the world. So again, UAE is a full workshop. It's not a country alone on its own only. It's a country of full of workshops talking about government efforts, talking about the all of those issues. So I'm so happy that I'm there, and I'm working with the government, I'm working with the private sector on how to promote AI in a safe way. And I'm sure that you've seen some of my interviews with Sky News and other TVs. And that's what I'm promoting also in conferences, using AI, a useful AI, a safe AI, a responsible AI, away from frauding, away from the deep fake and the other bad things. So thank you for your question. Yes, the UAE is a big difference.
Thank you so much. And Iwe, we have the great side. To you. Again, we are going to come back. Let's quickly take the presentation of Dr. Kadero. And thank you for the patience, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Nader yourself for that enlightening and inspiring background of yours. That's
Thank
why
you,
when we
thank
talk
you for
about
giving me
balance,
thank you so much.
yes, it's really enlightening to hear from an inspiring speaker, a sustainable leader, an original engineer promoting AI, which was not named during your time. Then also a servant of your own country, and a world traveler, and a supportive tourist, supportive who spend probably millions of dollars promoting tourism around the world. Sorry if I cup too much. Okay, that's what's happened if your background is tropical, Dr. Nader.
Yeah, you're right. I can feel that with you.
Me share screen, Dr. Adebisi,
Yes, you can share your screen now.
I would be able to say, but for the others here who are actually sharing the session with me, what can you say? It might be rhetorical or not, but you can actually put in the chat box or just say it aloud here in our session. So going through the process of a scientific investigation, it cringes you no end on what will happen when the roll starts. He's even tied up to the wheel. Good luck, brave fellow. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Mabuhay and congratulations. So mabuhay means welcome in our Filipino language, or even congratulations. Have you ever explored the difference between a teacher and an employee? Anyone who teaches should be aware of the difference. You are a good employee if you are punctual, teach your lessons on time, follow the school's policies, and listen to your employer. Being a good employee who takes individual care of your students is not the same as being a teacher. You can call yourself a teacher. But if you're an employee who takes individual care of your students, listens to their problems, and works to solve them, guides and motivates them, in short, you are putting your heart and soul into making societal changes. Otherwise, you may be a good employee, but not a teacher. Crossing the line between employee and teacher requires passion, love, and pure extra work for which no money is needed. Let me tell you a story for declaring a difference between a teacher and an employee. This is the story of Mrs. Centolia. Mrs. Centolia, or Mrs. G, an elementary school teacher, was the subject of a story told many years ago. She told her children a falsehood as she stood in front of her fifth grade class on the first day of school. She glanced at her students like most instructors do and told them she loved them all the same. But that was not simply the case. For a little kid named Tangier, who sat in the third row, slumped in his seat. Mrs. G had been watching Tangier the previous year and noted that he is a loner who doesn't seem to care about school. He doesn't have many friends, and he even sleeps in class sometimes. Tangier grades were barely passable, and the parents were busy making a decent living and had no time teaching him. If no action is taken, his home life would eventually have an impact on him. As she worked with Tangier, Mrs. G began to pay special attention to him. His thinking appeared to grow alive as time passed. He answered more quickly the more she encouraged him. By the end of the year, Tangier has established himself as one of the class brightest students. Despite her deception, if we can call it deception, he had become a favorite of her teacher. Tangier wrote her a message under the door a year later, saying she was the best teacher he ever had in his life. 6 years had passed when she received another note from Tangier, much to her surprise. He said that he had finished second in his batch in high school and that she was still the best teacher he had ever had. 4 years later, another letter arrived explaining that despite the difficulties, he took up teaching and be a teacher like her and had graduated from college with honors. Within 4 decades, he studied abroad, built his own school in the Philippines, and finished his doctorates. The communication continued with social media. Tangier, in different occasions through the decades, thanked her for the inspiration and care to what he is now. I'm Dr. Noli Calderon, also known as Tangier. In the True to Life story I narrated, I deeply thank my beloved teacher, Mrs. Hentolia, for her passion and compassion. So please, don't forget what an incredible impact you have as teachers. Each day, you have the power to shape young minds, ignite curiosity, and inspire a love for learning. Your dedication and passion are truly transformative. Never underestimate the power of your words and actions. A simple encouragement, a kind gesture, or a listening ear can make a lasting impression on a student's life. Your belief in their abilities can instill confidence and inspire them to dream big. We are thrilled to have educators of all kinds join us on our journey to inspire the next generation of compassionate scientists like Dr. Nader Ghazal, great innovators like Dr. Adibesi, and ethical problem solvers as we should have been. In 1995, two passionate educators, Risalina C. Calderon, who is now having 2 doctorates in education, leadership, management, and humanities, and then Noli Calderon Leoncio, which is formal, who now I have strategic leadership management as doctorate and another one for community development, decided to establish a preparatory school, the Norwich Learning Center and Theater Academy, which is pictured here. That's the facade. Programs offered are only for the kindergarten level. So we started small. So when we started, there were only, would you believe, 7 students. There were only 7 students. It was in 2004 that the school changed its name to St. Mark's Child Development Center as the reply to the parents' request for continuity of their children's education with the implementation of the elementary education program, grades 1 to 6. In 2010, the school launched its junior high school program, grades 7 to 10. In 2020, the school, after passing again the rigorous Department of Education reaccreditation, changed its name to St. Mark Integrated School, which suits its inclusive, affordable, seamless, flexible, proactive, and relevant programs. In 2023, from 2 programs last school year, the school launched a total of 3 programs to further cater the needs of our learners, namely Home, Home Plus, and School. We offer 5 times a week online classes, on-site face-to-face classes, homeschooling, and modular learning. The concept of 21st century skills refer to a broad set of knowledge, skills, work habits, and character traits that are believed to be critically important to success in today's world, particularly in collegiate programs and contemporary careers and workplaces. In today's rapidly evolving world, equipping students, particularly our young Markians at St. Mark Integrated School, with the skills necessary for the 21st century is more crucial than ever, as well as to those individuals who are not into education or to other institutions that did this as well. Our mission to provide quality education that is progressive, existentialist, and social reconstructionist sets a strong foundation for fostering these essential skills. Here are some key skills that align with our school's visions, mission, and core values of excellence, compassion, and integrity, as that for all other individuals as well in other fields. These skills are broadly categorized into three main areas: learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Here's a summary of these categories. Under learning skills, we have the top, critical thinking, which involves analyzing and evaluating information or arguments in an objective manner. It requires the thinker to question assumptions, identify biases, and assess the validity of data or textual evidence. This skill is essential for problem solving and decision making, allowing individuals to make informed decisions based on logical reasoning and empirical evidence. Critical thinkers can navigate complex situations and challenges by applying a systematic approach to understand and solve issues. Creativity is the ability to think outside the box and generate innovative ideas or solutions. It involves combining or reapplying existing knowledge in new ways to come up with something original. As Dr. Nader already said, so he had AI then, but he has to refresh himself according to what is artificial intelligence. So 30 years ago, so we have some more information that is more relevant now as to artificial intelligence. So it's you have to be creative enough to continue to what is relevant and new. Creativity is not only about artistic expression, but also crucial in scientific innovation, business strategies, and technological advancements. Encouraging creativity fosters adaptability and can lead to breakthroughs that propel societies forward. Collaboration. So that one also suggested by our dear Dr. Nader earlier. So it refers to working effectively with others. So he's referring to relationships. So we just define it as collaboration in our field of education to achieve a common goal or complete a task. It involves coordinating efforts, sharing resources, and respecting diverse perspectives and skills. Effective collaboration requires strong communication skills, empathy, and the ability to negotiate and compromise. In a digitalized, globalized world, collaboration across cultural and geographical boundaries is increasingly important for solving complex problems. Communication is the process of conveying ideas, feelings, or information clearly and effectively to others. It encompasses a wide range of modes, including verbal, written, nonverbal, and digital communication. Good communication skills involve active listening, clear articulation, appropriate tone, and understanding the audience. In today's interconnected world, effective communication is crucial for personal, academic, and and professional success. Under literacy skills, we have information literacy, which is the ability to identify, locate, evaluate, and use information effectively. It requires critical thinking to assess the credibility of sources, understand the context, and apply the information appropriately. In an age of information overload, being information literate is essential for navigating the digital landscape and making informed decisions. It empowers individuals to continue learning and adapt to new challenges. Excuse me, let me sip some water. Dr. Adelbisi, you send me some coffee later on. So to continue, media literacy. Media literacy involves understanding the role of media in society and the ability to critically analyze media content. It teaches individuals to recognize biases, understand media messages, and evaluate the purpose behind media presentations. Media literacy is increasingly important in discerning factual information from misinformation or even malinformation, propaganda as they say. It enables consumers to engage with media in an informed and critical manner. Technology literacy. Technology literacy is the knowledge and ability to use technology effectively and responsibly. It includes understanding how different technologies, including the one talked about earlier by Dr. Nader Ghazal about artificial intelligence, AI, and how they can be used to achieve specific tasks or solve problems. Technology literacy is crucial for navigating the modern world where technology permeates all aspects of life. It also involves being aware of the ethical implications and potential risks associated with technological use. Under life skills, so we have 5. Flexibility and adaptability. Being flexible and adaptable means being able to respond to changing circumstances and expectations effectively. It involves openness to new ideas, willingness to learn, and the ability to adjust plans or strategies as needed. When you say that you already learned enough, that is the start of your downfall. That's why even though how famous or how educated Dr. Nader or Dr. Abelesi is, they continue to learn because learning is a lifelong task. It is a continuing education. So that is our mission, to move forward and continue relearning. Flexibility and adaptability are crucial in a fast-paced, ever-changing world, enabling individuals to thrive in different environments and situations. These skills are valuable in both personal growth and career development. When it comes to leadership and social influence, leadership and social influence involve guiding or inspiring others towards achieving a common goal. Effective leaders possess a clear vision, communicate effectively, and motivate others. They also exhibit integrity, empathy, and the ability to make difficult decisions. Leadership skills are essential for fostering teamwork, driving change, and achieving success in various endeavors. Initiative and self-direction means taking recognizance and acting on opportunities without being prompted by others. It involves setting goals, being proactive, demonstrating a strong work ethic. Self-direction involves the ability to plan, organize, and carry out tasks independently. These skills are critical for personal development and academic achievement, as well as career success, as they reflect an individual's motivation and capacity for self-improvement. Productivity and accountability. Productivity involves efficiently and effectively completing tasks to achieve goals. Accountability is taking responsibility for one's actions and their outcomes. Together, these skills are fundamental in both personal and professional settings as they lead to the achievement of objectives and foster trust and reliability. Being productive and accountable also includes setting priorities and managing time well, reflecting on and learning from experiences. Lastly, social and cross-cultural skills. These skills involve the ability to interact effectively with people from different cultures and backgrounds. They include understanding and respecting diversity, empathizing with others, and communicating across cultural divides. Social and cross-cultural skills are increasingly important in a globalized world, facilitating collaboration, reducing conflict, and enhancing interpersonal relationships in diverse settings. The 21st century skills I mentioned, encompassing learning, literacy, and life skills, open up a wide array of career opportunities in education. These skills are not only valuable for traditional teaching roles, but also for emerging careers that reflect the evolving landscape of education. Here's how these skills translate into various education-related career paths. Number one, educational technology specialist. With strong technology literacy, individuals can develop, implement, and assess educational technologies in schools and universities, enhancing learning experiences through digital tools. Number two, instructional designer. Leveraging critical thinking and creativity, instructional designers create educational programs and materials that meet specific learning objectives and cater to diverse learning styles. Number three, global education coordinator. Those with social and cross-cultural skills can work in international education, developing exchange programs and curricula that promote global awareness and cultural competence. Number four, education policy analyst. With critical thinking and information literacy, individuals can analyze educational policies, assess their impacts, and advocate for reforms that improve education systems. Number five, corporate trainer. So it's not only limited to education but also to business and other fields, leveraging communication, collaboration, and leadership skills. Corporate trainers design and deliver training programs in business settings, focusing on professional development and skill enhancement. Number 6, academic advisor. Utilizing communication and social skills, academic advisors provide guidance to students on course selection, career planning, and academic strategies, helping them navigate their educational journey. Number 7, special education specialists with empathy, patience, and creativity. Specialists in special education develop and implement strategies to meet the unique needs of students with disabilities, ensuring accessible and inclusive learning environments. Number 8, curriculum developer. Drawing on content, knowledge, and creativity, curriculum developers design educational programs and materials that align with educational standards and best practices. Number 9, educational consultant. Using analytical and communication skills, educational consultants advise schools, districts, and educational organizations on curriculum development, teacher training, and educational strategies. Number 10, media and information literacy educator. These educators teach students how to critically evaluate information and media, an essential skill in today's information-rich society. Number 11, career counselor. With a deep understanding of the job market and strong interpersonal skills, career counselors guide students in exploring career paths, developing professional skills, and planning their future education and career. These careers highlight the diverse opportunities available in the field of education for individuals who possess a blend of 21st century learning, literacy, and life skills. The demand for professionals who can navigate the complexities of modern education and foster environments that support holistic student development is on the rise. So that was taken 4 days ago in our 29th Foundation Day of our school, St. Park Integrated School. So you know the handsome one seated with the eyeglasses. So can you see that, Dr. Adibisi, the most handsome guy seated with the glasses? Can you point it out? Okay, so you don't mention my name anymore. Okay. So going back to our humorous image. Given the situation of the poor fellow sitting atop, where shall he sit to have a higher percentage of survival? Though not guaranteed. Where do you think, Dr. Vishnu, Dr. Shahid, where do you think will he sit if he's going to still roll down from the hill? Where will he probably survive? Where will he sit? You may answer. So this is somehow interactive. So it's inside the wheel hole. Can you see, sir? Probably he will survive if he sits inside the wheel hole. Do you agree? Do you agree? Let me hear feedback. Do you agree if it sits inside? Dr. Vishnu?
Yes, I agree.
Dr. Shahid?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the feedback.
Yes.
So what do you think the skills needed here for survival's sake? So firstly, as we have already discussed, it's critical thinking. So analyzing the weight of the stone on something frail as a human body. Imagine if Dr. Business is the one riding atop and he's going to roll down. So how many rolls would it take for the stone to stop rolling down the hill? So several times. So we have a pancake as Dr. Vishnu. So you can no longer recognize Dr. Vishnu after the stone rolls down afterwards. Also, when we relate it to our skills that I mentioned, flexibility and adaptability. Yes, you have to involve openness to new ideas, willingness to learn, and the ability to adjust plans or strategies as needed. So when we talk about skills needed, it's also applicable to real life situations. What I have now is just a humorous image that are actually parody our mind. Remember, when we talk about education, education is serious business, but it doesn't have to be humorless. So we should sometimes be humorous as well. So education, as I said, is serious business, but we don't have to be humorless. So in my case, I always have humor when I teach, when I speak. So how about for others who are about to let go or push the rolling stone down? So communication skills, to stop or let go. So collaboration refers to working effectively with others to achieve a common goal. So why let someone roll down and kill somebody if we can just have to collaborate and communicate what would happen if we let it roll down. The dark humor here is that they're about to end somebody's life. On the other hand, effective collaboration requires strong communication skills, more so empathy, because you're about to kill somebody. Remember, when I say kill somebody, it could be figurative and literal. And the ability to negotiate and compromise. Skills as initiative, to being proactive and act on opportunities. Who do you think is the leader of the group? As you can see at the image, who do you think is the leader of the group? Dr. Sahid, Dr. Vishnu. Who do you think is the leader in the group? If you look at the image. Yes, the one
At the top.
the one at the bottom of the hill. The one having the pen,
Bottom
right?
of the hill.
Yes, correct. That's the one. Yes,
Copy
yes,
and
the one
pen.
with the pen. The policymaker, the supposed scientist, the lawyer, the politician, probably the leader of our land. I'm not referring to a particular president, but it could be my president as well. There are many health, environmental, and sustainability problems that needed to be addressed, but are ignored and repeatedly unresolved, and sometimes, or most of the time, flagrantly violated in the name of progress, financial benefit, or just pure ignorance. We do not need to roll down our lives and our future to an impending disaster. We just have to keep abreast with the ever-changing world, yearn to learn new skills, and relearn the old, apply them in real life, and be society's change makers. I'm Dr. Leoncio Calderon, the second from the Philippines. Thank you and mabuhay.
Of the remarks from Professor Dr. Vishnu Padabose. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. First of all, sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, very audible, sir.
Okay. I express my sincere thanks and gratitudes to Ambassador Dr. Shahid Adivashi. So, and other guests also. So formally, very good morning, good afternoon. Ambassador Dr. Shahid Adivashi, Dr. Renuka Thakure, Dr. Abdul Mannaf, Dr. Khaled Hamid sir, and other distinguished speaker, distinguished guest, scholar, and all participants over here today. So again, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you. Let me say a few words about my career. Because today's session is mainly career oriented things, career management and opportunities. So in my career from childhood, I was passionate about contributing to building a better civilization. That was my dream from childhood. And accordingly, in the undergraduate level, I chose civil engineering branch. And in master's, my specialization was geotechnical engineering. And my PhD domain was sustainable building materials and sustainable development under the School of Engineering Entrepreneurship at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India. This was the premier and elite technological university in our country. So PhD I have completed from the School of Engineering Entrepreneurship. So during my PhD, I developed sustainable building materials through the circular economy concept, and it was a great achievement in my career according to my passion. However, initially my career started in the top corporate in our country, and as a civil engineer I have contributed to many mega projects in our country. That is very remarkable projects. I was the coordinator, a project in charge of these mega projects in India. I worked for 15 years in the industry, and then I came to academic field. At present, I am working as a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, Civil and Environmental Engineering, HPU, Kolkata, India. So during the phase of different transitions period, I have achieved different experience. So for the scholars, I could say finally that potential of a student can be legitimate criterion for choosing a career. Very few are able to identify their potential and choose their subject of knowledge based on it. A career selected on the basis of one potential has greater prospect of assuring success. When choosing a career, scholars, aspirants, students should understand the area of interest. For example, someone who singing well can become an engineer, but his or her interest will always be in songs. A career is something that you have to do for the rest of your active life. So you definitely want to do something that you like doing and gives you satisfaction. Finally, I can say choosing a career based on your passion will allow you to comfortably settle in your career and excel while overcoming challenges with minimum effort. So passion is the important criteria or important signal for any aspirant, any student. So I always suggest build career according to your passion or according to your interest field. So many career options available today. So student, of course, can choose their career according to their choiceable field. But globalization offers extensive opportunities for truly worldwide development, but it is not progressing evenly. That's why the United Nations identified 3 mega trends related to globalization. That is shift in production and labor market, rapid advance in technology, and climate change. The acceleration of globalization has produced unprecedented opportunities, threats, and uncertainties for aspirants, scholars, and professionals, and for business in general. So finally, again, I could conclude that choosing a career based on your passion will allow you to comfortably settle in your career and excel while overcoming challenges with minimum effort. Thank you so much.
Okay. Can you share it now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Is it visible?
Professor?
Yes, it is. It is very visible. Very visible.
Okay. So sound is clear. Sound.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. So this is my presentation in general presentation in respect to career management and opportunities. As I told that my career started as a civil engineering, and later on I pursued my doctorate engineering entrepreneurship from the engineering entrepreneurship department, and subsequently I have involved in the entrepreneurship cell also in our country, and I have developed something sustainable building material in our country. So I am going to this presentation to the scholars, aspirant students. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunities. My name is Dr. Vishnupada Bose from India. So career definition is available in different journals, different articles. So in general definitions like that, the pattern and sequences of occupations and positions occupied by people across their working lives. So when choosing a career, scholars, aspirants should understand their area of interest. This is very important things that I spoke just a few minutes back. That, for example, someone who's singing well can become an engineer, but his or her interest will always be in the songs. So a career is something that you have to do for the rest of your active life. So you definitely want to do something that you like doing and gives you satisfaction and pleasures. Choosing a career based on your passion will allow you to comfortably settle in your career and excel while overcoming challenges with minimum efforts. This is also a suggested elements published by authors that this is the element for successful career. Embrace happiness that must be required in everybody's lives. Cultivate a positive attitude. That is very important things. We must have the positive in all sense. Tap your passion, align with your values, play to your strengths, set your career intention. So choosing a career is one of the most important decisions in a person's life. It can save your life, determine success, and determine your happiness. Successful scholars who is committed to incorporate her passion into the work. This is the common element to build a better factors to build a better careers. Is common things that a student can develop throughout his study periods. Say qualification on things, common things, contacts, personality, values and motivation, interest, skills. These are the common things a scholars and student achieved during their study periods. So all element that directly or indirectly into the, so it is essential things. The importance of choosing career lies in its ability to provide directions, fulfillment, and stability in your life. It is a decision that can have long-term consequences. So it is important to carefully consider your options and make an informed choice. Potential of a student can legitimate criterion for choosing a career. Very few are able to identify their potential and choose their subject of knowledge based on it. So passion here is a very potential of a student, passion in main ingredient to accelerate careers. So a career selected on his basis of one potential has greater prospect of assuring success. Career development process. The four element is very important things. Engaging in self-awareness, self-assessment, and self-discovery. Exploring education, training, and career options, including entrepreneurship and startup also, because it is a modern concept. Decision making and planning. Taking action towards your goal. Today's the economic, social, and business world is undergoing unprecedented change. Accordingly, career path also is a very critical transition process. In the modern career landscape, characterized by being more boundaryless and self-directed career transitions, defined as career moves from one position to another, have become more prominent part of individual working life. So traditionally, there are four type of career path now is knowledge-based career, skill-based career, entrepreneurship and startup-based career, freelance. Every kind of career path catered to a specific set of qualification. So of course, minimum qualification is required to shift any type of careers. So knowledge-based career is all know, mainly academics, research, development, consultancy, advisor, leaders. Skill-based, mainly industry and something general professionals, etc. And combined with knowledge and skills, academician, professors, researchers, lawyer, doctor, administrative personnel, entrepreneurship. This is very important things. An entrepreneur solve a problem or specific need by selling their own product and services. An entrepreneur can work independently or start a company and hire employees and contribute to the society in many forms. Similarly, startup also a modern concept. Startup are a specific type of business that focuses on rapid growth and innovation, often combining this with technology. In this context, all startup are example of entrepreneurship, but not all entrepreneurship is a startup. That is actually important things. Another thing is freelance. We all know the freelance is always they can shift anywhere based on their eligibility, potential, and capability. So coming to the entrepreneurship, worldwide it is a gaining global acceptance that entrepreneurship model, and all university has opened the sale of entrepreneurship innovation department to accelerate different ideas, innovative, disseminating innovation idea in the market. Entrepreneurship is not an easy or simple profession, but as with any field, there are basic principles that govern success. So most fundamental truth in entrepreneurship in this: find a problem and provide the solution. That great entrepreneurs are doing in the global level. If you want to become a successful entrepreneur, your business must fill a gap, solve an issue, or provide a product that did not previously exist. So entrepreneurial trait, it is a common trait: passion, risk-taking ability, persisting nature, innovative, leading from the front, ethical in nature. So we all know the successful entrepreneurs on the global level: Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon; Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple; Elon Musk, founder of SpaceX and CEO of Tesla; Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook; Larry Page, co-founder of Google. So they are actually entrepreneurs model for all of us. This is the common thing need for a entrepreneur. Of course, they have these properties. They have their quality. That is perseverance, analytical thinking, creative problem solving, collaborating, communication, technology savvy, proactive, flexibility, adaptability, and network building capability, etc. These are common skill needs for entrepreneurs. Another concept, startup, it's also gaining global acceptance from since last few decades. The startup are an optimal vehicle to validate and bring new innovation to the markets, especially more disruptive innovation. So a startup is a new business venture that is typically in the early stage of development. Startups are founded by one or more entrepreneurs who want to develop a product or service for which they believe there is demand. Startups aim to bring innovation and build ideas quickly. They are businesses that want to disrupt industries and change the world, and do it all at scale. This is the common skill required to open up a startup. Persons who willing to start his career in a startup, he must have the quality: passion, vision, focus, determination, persistence, flexibility, creativity, communication skill, leadership skill, business acumen. Passion is the very important thing in this figure. So successful startup, we all know in the global level, and they are a model for all of us. Uber, they are online taxi call service, AdRoll, they are analyzing consumer behavior. Handy, the company is engaging in the revolutionary cloud software design to manage the large team. Thousand Eyes is a cloud service for monitoring and analytic processing a large amount of data. These all are successful and model startup in the global level, and it's the example for all of us. Now,
Hello, Prof.
entrepreneurship innovation
Prof,
is
sir.
related.
Hello, Prof, sir.
But
Yes, this,
Yes.
like I said, we have technical issue with the subscription of the Zoom. So we may go off in the next 1 minute now. We are going to rejoin with the same link. Please, let us take note. All of us, let us take note. Mrs. Aminchi, do you get what I say?
So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
may I continue or again rejoin? Yes. So entrepreneurship and innovation is a related things. Entrepreneurs have a innovative idea and they have disseminating in their process. Difference between entrepreneur and startup. In the last two lines, you may see that all startup are example of entrepreneurship, but not all entrepreneurship is a startup, or not all entrepreneurship necessarily startup, but all startup are founded by entrepreneurs. Source of funding in the startup is all know. If someone willing to open up a startup, they can arrange the fund from this source. And this is the emerging trend on the present scenario in the globalization period. May I continue? May I continue now?
Yes, Prof. Yes, continue, sir.
Yes. Relation in entrepreneurship and innovation is symbiotic with each other, with each driving others. As the world continue to change and evolve, innovation will continue to play a critical role in the success of companies and in shaping the future of the global economy. So, innovation and entrepreneurship relationship I have drawn here. Entrepreneurship and innovation are closely related but distinct concepts. While innovation involves introducing something new, such as business model, product idea, or service, entrepreneurship focuses on turning a great idea into a viable business opportunity. Innovation is the starting point for entrepreneurship, as it involves the creation of new and valuable ideas. However, entrepreneurship goes further by taking on the risk and responsibility of bringing those ideas to market and building a successful business. The key distinction lies in the risk component associated with entrepreneurship, which is not necessarily present in the innovation alone. So startup and entrepreneurship, something is different is there. Entrepreneurship can visualize the prospect of filling the gap with an innovation solution. This could involve revising a product or creating a new one. Entrepreneurship encompasses the entire process of starting, running, and finding new market for business, while startup are specific types of venture that embody entrepreneurial traits, often with a focus on growth, innovation, and disruption. So as I said that small differences there. All startup are example of entrepreneurship, but not all entrepreneurship is a startup. So not all entrepreneur necessarily startup, but all startup are founded by entrepreneurs. This is the funding sources. Anyone who like to flourish his career for startup, they can get funding from this type of sources. Say angel ventures, angel investor, venture capital, crowdfunding, etc. Now it is the emerging trend and the present concept. In a rapidly changing world, the nature of work is evolving in an unprecedented pace. Technology and advancement, global event, and shifting socio-economic landscape are reshaping industries and creating new career opportunities for students and young professionals. Understanding this shift and equipping themselves with the relevant skills and become more critical than ever. So this is the common things, future of work. Who does the work that is mentioned, how the work is done, that for example AI, robotics, automation. When and where work is done, fluid work schedule, remote worker, collected workplace, and who does the work. This is the future concept. And who does the work in this step? GIG economy is the great things. Now it is a modern concept. Sorry, its concept is old, but now it is accelerating and gaining global acceptance. GIG economy. Now it is a key trend. It is a common things. But out of this, number two, GIG economy, it's gaining global acceptance now. So this is the brief of GIG economy. GIG economy is the economic system by which a workforce of people engage in freelance and side hustle work. The GIG economy is composed of corporate entities, workers, and consumers. GIG economy also two categories is there: service-based GIGs, knowledge-based GIGs. Reason for promotion of GIG economy. This is the few reasons as published in the different articles why GIG economy is gaining global acceptance now. Number one, with the emergence of digital age, now people can work from any place and at any time. Number two, short-term contact facilities. Facilitate the firm to avoid long-term commitments such as gratuity, pension, etc. This type of burden company can avoid through the GIG economy. Advancement in technology has reduced human effort, also add to the GIG economy. The dynamic business environment also induce the company to hire short-term laborers, save training time, and increase the operational efficiency of the organization. Freedom of work, as the worker can work at their own pace, as there is no fixation of working hours and employment policies. Also, they can select the work they want to do. That's what GIG economy gaining global acceptance as now. Scholar must be proactive towards career goals. Proactive career behavior are actions that take initiative to build a career rather than just responding to opportunities. Number two, proactive aspirants, scholars are goal-oriented, confident, and curious. They are also alert, ask questions, and like to understand things in depth. Scholar must have this type of qualities so that they can choose the career early and right direction. So finally, I can conclude that a career is a continuous process that allow you to adapt to the changing demand of your dynamic economy, our dynamic economy. The career management process embraced various concepts: self-awareness, career development planning, career exploration, lifelong learning, and networking. So we must keep in mind that it is a changing, emerging economy, and globalization is on the way, on the process. So career exploration is the essential things for scholars and students. Another thing is passion. They must realize their passion. So the choosing of career would be easy. So this is my brief presentation of general concept of career management and opportunities.
Demos, as earlier introduced, from Nigeria, you know, there's this quote by Brian Tracy that we mostly focus on, which is dream big. There are no limitations to how good you can become or how high you can rise, except the limits you put on yourself. Couple of years back, I began to ponder on this, and when I was working aimlessly, I now told myself that no, there's limitation. And the number one limitation is when you don't manage your career well. 3 years ago, I was working with an financial institution here in Nigeria. And at the same time, I was trying to work on my personal NGO. And also, I was a student of a postgraduate. You know how it's chalked up. Working in a financial institution that I have to go to work from 6 to 6 with my NGO, and I was a student. So I began to have couples of rejection anytime I apply for grants via my NGO. I miss a lot of opportunities. I felt like quitting and things were not going right. Sometimes I will have sleepless nights while juggling a couple of things, you know, having to cope up with these 3 major things I loved doing in my life, which was the work that I was getting paid, my school, and my NGO. So I began to ponder this could be as the result of career management, that I wasn't managing my career well. So I wasn't feeling this satisfaction. There was no satisfaction doing all this job, despite the fact that I was getting paid. So I had to reflect on some of the things. I had to ask myself, okay, what will it be? What sets these successful people we see today? What are the things they are doing different than what we are doing now? And I began to ask myself, it's possibly that they manage their career well. Doing 3 things at a moment, if care is not taken, I will be working aimlessly and without direction. Just like Doctor said earlier, that when you don't manage your career well, you will lose focus. And I was losing focus. So I had to ask myself some questions, which I want you to ask yourself too. You can write it somewhere if you are having doubts about where you're heading to or how your career is moving. You know, career gives direction and clarity. So when I was confused on what to do, and I asked myself, I imagine myself in the next 5 years or 2 years, where do I want to see myself? Number one question. And the second question I asked myself, what are the top 5 skills that I want to develop for my own self? Of my own career. The third question was, who is the role model? And what are the things that I appreciate more about them? After every questions, I began to focus on 2 basic things about career. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
we are.
Okay, I asked myself these 2 major questions before I began to manage my career. I set goals. There are 2 major things that you cannot do when managing your career in every field. Wherever you're working, in industry, your personal goals, there are 2 major things you can't do away with, which is goal setting and planning. So I began to figure out what are my SMART objectives. My SMART objectives, I focus on what are the specific things I want to do. Are they measurable? Are they achievable? How relevant are they? And when am I supposed to achieve them? So basically, if I was to focus on that job that I was getting paid and also focus on my NGO, nothing was wrong with that. But if I should carry all these three, how specific are these goals? How measurable? How achievable when I want to manage my career? So I ask myself these questions, and which is one thing you must consider first when managing your career, because it helps a lot. It will go a long way. You cannot just be working directionless. For instance, I said in the next 3 years or 2 years, I want to see my NGO run as an international organization. Then how achievable, how relevant, how realistic was that goal that I set for myself? So I began to write all those things down. And the next thing I did was planning. Planning is the process of developing a structured approach or strategy to achieve those established goals that I set for myself. So I set objective, I identified my tasks as an NGO executive director, and what are the resources, the time, the personnel, everything that I needed at that time to run my NGO. So I went on with figuring out some strategies for achieving a successful career management. Are we together?
Yes, we are
Yes.
together.
Yes, very well.
Are we together? Okay. I went on with identifying some of the strategies I need to achieving those things that I've set for myself, the school, the NGO, and my work, which I was getting paid for, which will be a sponsor to cater for all the career that I've set for myself. First thing I did was self-assessment. You have to assess yourself. You have to, after setting the goal, you have to understand your strength, your interest, and value. Your strength is what you are good at. Your interest is what keeps you engaged, and your value is what is important. Your preference, that's how you like it or how you like to work. And your weakness is what you probably struggle with. And when I understood these things, I focused on strength, weakness, and value, these three things. Then I have to leave the essence of understanding the strength and the weakness is not for me to base or to focus on the weakness. Most of you have done this assessment, but you keep on focusing on your weakness, or you can't do this because you can't do that, you can't do this. While identifying this, I focus on my strengths and I set objective. I've worked on my objective, and that's number one strategy for career management. And second thing I did was continuous learning. Growing up, I never had a chance to go through nursery school, primary school. The secondary school I did was in XX3 because my family didn't have a financial capability to sponsor me. So when I identified those things that I can do, I kept on learning. I learn, I develop my skill every day. This is what I want to be. As time goes on, I want to be a career coach. Then I have to learn from people that I know are experienced, are more advanced than me. So I invest in lifelong learning. Number two thing, after self-assessment, what you need to do is continuous learning. I want to recommend Doctor for such a wonderful presentation he did. I love that. So you have to learn from people like Doctor to develop yourself, to enhance your skill, to stay competitive in this changing job market. You never can tell where you find yourself. I studied agric, but I am a career coach now. I worked in a financial institution. I didn't study economics or accounting. You see, this is how the world is changing. So you have to learn, you have to improve yourself every day. And number three thing you should do to work on the strategy to develop your career is networking and relationship building. Networking is very, very important because it helps you assess opportunities that you might have missed. Imagine not meeting a doctor now on LinkedIn. I wouldn't have met most of you here or all of you here. So you network. What you are good at, there are people that are good at also. Then you find their like and network with them. This will gain a lot of insight and you will receive support from either mentorship or peers. Number 4 thing is personal branding and online presence. You know, we are in a tech world that everything is online. You can access everything you want online. So just like I made mention earlier, I met Dr. met me on LinkedIn. You know, sometimes LinkedIn can be very, very intimidating, but nevertheless, you make yourself, you serve yourself there. The strong personal brand there is to showcase your skills, showcase your expertise, showcase what you have achieved and what you are good at. You never can tell who will contact you. I joined LinkedIn last year, but my presence, like being active on LinkedIn, started January, and I can tell you the number of money I've earned just because of my presence on LinkedIn. I can post thousands times without getting a like or comment, but I get people contacting me for a job. So your personal branding is very, very important because we are in a technological world. Your online presence, sell yourself out there. You cannot be stagnant. You cannot remain in your house and expect people to identify with you or to know what you do. And another strategy for career management is adaptability. Embrace change. Imagine if I had said I am an agric extensionist and I won't work in a financial institution, I won't run an NGO, I won't forge my education, I want to just be a farmer, just supervise farmers and get paid. I wouldn't have been here, right? I wouldn't have been here. So adaptability and resilience is what keeps you going and managing your career, your education, your professional life, and your general career. So last thing I will say about the strategy is work-life balance and well-being. This is very, very important. And it is one thing that people neglect. You want to do a lot of things at a time, not considering your health, not considering your mental health, not considering a lot of things. You will get burnt out and things will go wrong. So while trying to do a lot of things at the same time, just make sure you balance your work life and your well-being. It is very, very important. Just like I mentioned earlier, I was having sleepless nights because I was working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I have NGO to run. I was in school. Can you imagine how hectic that was? But when I began to manage my career, I set all these strategies, the planning, the objective setting, the SMART objective. Then I began to manage and balance my work life and my well-being. It is very, very paramount. Set boundaries, maintain a healthy work-life balance to sustain your long-time career satisfaction and well-being. And I said last, I want to chip in what Doctor said earlier, your mentorship and peer support. I mentioned earlier that whatever you do today, someone is doing better than you. Who is your mentor? The question are the 3 questions I asked you. Who is your mentor? And what are the things you appreciate about that particular person? So it's very, very important for you to consider that. The importance of career management is not just I want to set objective, I want to do this, the importance of that, because you need direction, you need focus. If you do not have the insight of where you're going to, you will be working directionless. And that will hinder you from achieving your life's goals, and the fulfillment for your objective, for your life's purpose won't be achieved. And the importance of career management also is maximize potential. You leverage on your strengths, just like I mentioned earlier. I identify the self-assessment I did. I had my strengths, my weakness, but I leverage more on my strengths. That was what kept me, and that's what is keeping me till date. And also it gives you opportunity, recognition opportunity. Are we together, doctor? Are we
Yes,
together?
summarize in 1 minute.
Okay. So it gives you opportunity and all that. When you do not manage your career well, you will underutilize your skill. One, you will be stagnant. Two, your stress will increase, just like I was doing three things at the same time. It was career management that helped me to manage all those three, you know. So doctor said I should summarize. In summary, career management and development is very, very important. Whatever you are doing, even if you are doing thousands things in at a time, when you manage them well, you can succeed. You can achieve your goal. For you to have this balance in your education, your work, and staying relevant in your career, you have to manage your career well. Because when you manage, it helps you figure out what you want to do, plan how to get there, and improve your skills all along. And also I am glad to connect with you because I sold myself on LinkedIn. That was what gave me the platform to meet with this great personality mentors, and I am grateful for this privilege. Thank you. Said 1 minute, I have to summarize. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for this privilege.
So I also congratulate Dr. Ms. Aminchi Nicodemus for his great knowledge he has gathered in the last few years. As he has told that education, job, and NGOs simultaneously, he has struggled a lot to survive and establish her NGOs in the global platform. And at the same time, she also acquired knowledge from the institute, and he also keep continue her continuous learning. He has kept continue with a sequential planning of day-to-day planning, and he has achieved uh, unique experience while he is executing all those things. I mean, learning, running NGOs. At the same time, for families, he also need to earn some money. So everything he has balanced since last few years. And I hope that this lecture she has delivered, it really too much effective for scholars, students, and professionals, and for us also, because we also learned many things from her, what she did last few years, and how she is struggling to establish towards her direction of her goals, and do something, and try to do something for the global level and global citizens, and indirectly she also contributing for achieving a sustainable development goal, as she told everything. So I greatly appreciate her contribution towards achieving his goal, at the same time towards development of the society, towards development of the scholar. So I greatly appreciate, and at the same time I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Miss Aminichi Nicodemus. Thank you so much, Miss
Thank you, doctor.
Aminichi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you, Prof, for doing that very remarks and summary and appreciation for those wonderful presentations. So, to our participants, yes, comments, reactions, questions. Let's have your comments. Let's have your reactions and questions with what they have done before. And that is the essence of this very session. And I want to welcome specifically our global guests, starting from Mr. Bhaskaran S, all the way from Singapore. He has been part of this very program since we started, even
inspired this very session of the 2024 because we were all together in 2023. You are highly welcome, sir, and we are delighted to have you. And also, I want to also recognize and welcome Professor Vishnu Fadabosi. He has been very instrumental and a leading driver of this very session, especially when we are talking about solution. He has been the person that actually inspired us and motivated us to actually develop this very session. You are highly welcome, sir, Professor Vishnu. And
Yes,
also,
good afternoon
yes,
to all of you.
And also, we are expecting the entrance of Mr. Kapil. He is still struggling to join, and I hope he is able to join on time. And I want to also recognize part of the foundation of whom we started this very course together in 2017, physically at the University of Ibadan. And that is the person of Engineer Najim Oyeyemi. He is based in United Arab Emirates now. You are welcome back to your program.
I'm happy to be here.
And also, I want to welcome powerfully one of my senior colleagues in the university where I teach and where I carried out some researches. And he is supposed to be scheduled for today, but I think we couldn't conclude his arrangement on time. And he is here to also join this very session. And that is Dr. Akinlabi Mohammed Rufai. You are welcome, sir. Okay, while we are waiting for others guests to join.
Thank you very much, SLB. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. And especially Mr. Kapika, I want to welcome everybody that have joined this very session. Starting from Mrs. Adeumi Sherifa, Mr. Jamil, and also, yes, I have another guest here, Mrs. Naomi from Uganda. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
So, moving straight to our business of the day, like we have said during the announcement that we want to actually take the solutions that have been developed by experts and that have been tested and impacted communities and learn from their experience, from their experiences, and also adopt it in our own career as we are growing, and also career as we are forging ahead in different fields that we have taken of interest to us and that we have chosen to impact the global community. Yes, that is the reason why we are here. For the first round of the responses or the session, we are going to take a brief introduction into today's theme, like a 5 minutes introduction or remarks about today's theme, and that will be a question of the career of our guests and the journey of our guests. How did they come about the problems that they pick interest in, and how did they come about the solutions that they have provided? I think that is going to tell their story to us, how they have come about those solutions. Then the second session of a 30-minute presentation will be the solution that they have actually developed and how far it has been impacting on the global community. That is the way we are going to move. Then we are going to open the session to the participants to also contribute and also make remarks and maybe ask questions. And we are going to respond to that. Then we are going to close by the 3 minutes closing remarks from our guests. That is the way we are going to run this very session. But let me sincerely apologize that we have not been able to fix the issue of subscription of our Zoom link. When we are about an hour, it's going to go off, but we are going to rejoin we are going to rejoin with the same link that we used to join now. So we are going to let us take note of that. So when we go up, we are going to come back with the same link. And on that very note, I want to appreciate our guests and our participants on this very platform. And let me open the first round by calling on Mr. Bhaskaran to tell us his own career story and lifestyle, how it came about, the solution that he has been able to work on in 5 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, good evening. My name is Bhaskaran. I'm based out of Singapore. I got around 35 years of experience in information technology. I'm settled, I'm a citizen of Singapore. So when the pandemic broke, I was tired of doing all the IT related activities, software development, infrastructure, data center and all. I felt, like I should do something back to the society. That is where, we started developing apps to empower individuals to manage, right from their finance, health, sustainability, documents, everything. They can use the app to store, retrieve data, and then, use the app. The second aspect, I also felt, nobody's really giving focus on sustainability. This was around, 4 years back. Nobody was really talking about sustainability and all. We developed an app called Planet Sustain to empower any individuals, students, employees, stakeholders, businesses, SMEs to track the carbon footprint, take action, reduce, reduce and also be a responsible consumer. That's the only way to solve the sustainability climate risk. The third app is called InnoHealth, where it allows an individual to store all the health data within the app. And all the three apps works without Wi-Fi and internet, so that your data is stored only on your mobile phone. I think I'm getting some background noise. Can you just mute some of your? Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to answer. That. Yeah. So all the three apps works without Wi-Fi and the internet, and so that user can use it any remote location or where the internet connectivity is very low, or you don't need any internet or Wi-Fi to use the app. Yeah, I will discuss more on this when I do my 10 minutes presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And yes, I want to also welcome. We have mentioned it that our dear sir Kapil Kaur is actually coming on board, and we really appreciate your coming. So we are hoping the session to have an opening remarks about the solution, how you came about it, joining your career, and your story about it that you are going to tell us in the first 5 minutes before we now take the solution that you have discovered and you have implemented for 10 minutes, and also we now open the floor for our participants to also contribute. Then we now have 3 minutes concluding remarks. That was what we have said when you are trying to join us, and that is what Mr. Bhaskaran I just made his own remarks now. So thank you so much, sir. Let me call on Professor Bosi to have his own opening remarks. Thank you. Professor Bisnu?
Yes. Just here. Am I audible to all of you?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yes. So very good afternoon, good morning, Ambassador Dr. Shahid Adivasi, all respected speaker, respected guest, dear scholar, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you. It is a very nice session, and it is a brainstorming session. It's a very important topic. So in contrast of today's topic, I could say that our main aim in the present global scenario should be to achieve 17 Sustainable Development Goal by 2030. Sustainable development is a social process that integrates social, economic, and environmental objectives to meet with the present needs of human beings without compromising the needs of future generations. And also, Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint designed to tackle global challenges and achieve a better futures. We all global citizens are placed in the center of the responsibility to achieve the sustainable development goals for betterment of our planet, to save the planet. Another aspect is sustainable living. Sustainable living is about creating a balance between meeting our needs and preserving our planet. This includes everything from food we eat to how we get around, etc. The security of human lives have always been understood to depend on the strength and resilience of natural world which we inhabit. United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development includes 17 goals. So we, as a global citizen, individual can contribute to SDGs in many ways, including reducing inequality, ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns, promoting peaceful and inclusive societies, defining priorities, environmental sustainability, wastewater management, wasting less food, helping people around you, not wasting water, creating new job opportunities, avoiding products that harmful to the environment, recycling, energy optimization, buying energy efficient appliances. These all are individual can take these initiatives to towards sustainable development goals. So in my career, I have 20 years experience in civil engineering domain. I initially I was in the corporate, and I have developed sustainable building materials in an entrepreneur cell in my PhD times. So that actually developed a concrete and brick from the mining waste. That waste actually it was remained there last 60-70 years. Nobody has taken initiative to utilize this waste. So in my motivation, or I have a passion to develop this type of things, so I developed sustainable building material from this waste that I will show in my presentation. So now for this program, I wish you all the best for today's session. The topic is very relevant and will get meaningful outcome out of this session. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you.
Doctor, you are
you're
muted.
Doctor.
You're muted.
Thank you. Like I said, yes. Like I said, today is very loaded, and yes, we are excited to be here with these very powerful leaders and the solution providers. Straight, let me go to Sir Kapil Kaur from India. Yes, sir.
Good day to everybody out here today. Some who we have met before, some I can see that we're meeting for the first time. It's my pleasure to be on board with this symposium and this entity headed by Dr. Shahid Adibasi. It's a very laudable effort, and we need to increase the momentum and the depth of these discussions and bring them into fruition in the countries and with the governments where we are all associated, especially in the African Union. I stress on the African Union for certain reasons, but before that, for those who were not online in the previous session, just a small brief about me. I've had an extensive experience of about 42 to 43 years in the commercial world, primarily in commodities, FMCG, automotive components, and business development. But more importantly, that over 3 years, I've had, or rather, over 3 instances, I have had 3 traumatic incidences. In 97, 17th March, I was run over by a car. I still have a plate in my femur snapped in two. I have a plate in my foot, in my leg still, in my thigh. Second, on 15th August 2008, I was hit by a fatal heart attack. I was revived by electric shocks, and I had a triple bypass on the 21st of November 2008. And then in 2018, a motorcyclist came and slammed into my car at full speed on the side. So from the second incident onwards, I wondered, why am I alive? People don't survive one incident. I've survived 3. But in this case, at that time, it was 2. So I found that when I was reviving and I was getting my heart back into full functioning abilities, the quality of oxygen, the water, and the environment in which I was working in or relaxing in radically changed my heart rate, my sugar levels, my blood pressure, all the vital parameters by which you determine your survival. I could see that when the quality of oxygen was high, everything was, my medication would remain the same. But my parameters would be radically different. So in short, if I did not have equipment like I'm wearing the watch, I've got my digital Bluetooth, BP machine, sugar machine, etc. If I didn't have these, then I wouldn't be alive today, because with the kind of medication I was having, I would have gone hypo, or my BP levels would have gone radically low, very low, and I would have died. And people would have said, oh, he's a heart patient, so he had to die. He couldn't survive. No, it was the environment, the water, and the oxygen that was very critical. So I suddenly realized that it is for me as an individual that the power on top, you call him God, you call him Allah, you call him whatever you call him, it doesn't matter. It's a power. That power is sending me back for a purpose. And I felt that it is now my purpose to make people aware of the environment like a live guinea pig. So I got into that. And then I became the national president of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. That's another story, which is in destiny. And I must tell you that there are many stories that I have in destiny, which bring me to the point of where I'm talking to all of you today. So with that behind me, which I can relate on different sessions, or maybe when we meet together, but there's a lot of sense of destiny with which things are playing out. How I came in contact with Dr. Manaf, and how I have got on board the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. My presidency was delayed by about 12 years. And it was with deliberate intent on my destiny that was delayed. So coming back to one last point, which is that apart from the introduction, that for us, it is imperative. When you say sustainability, it makes so people think that, this climate change, environment is something that we can take 1 decade, 2 decades, going into the future. Let's do it slowly. No way. No way. The word sustainability is too soft a word. It's got to be an emergency reaction. We've got to stop things now, not tomorrow. No. The practices that we have, wasteful practices we have, consumerism that we have, all this has to stop. The crude oil that we are consuming, I agree, crude oil must continue for a while because that is a source of energy. But there are derivatives by which we can reduce the dependency and go to green energy and the like. And here I will come to the African Union. Why I'm stressing on African Union is not many people would know or would have observed that during the pandemic, the African Union was the least affected in the pandemic. Why? Why was it that cities like New York, why was it that cities in India like Bombay, both are key financial centers, why were they the worst affected when it's the most, both these cities are supposed to be the most advanced and affluent cities in the world? Why were they impacted? Why is it that Africa was not impacted? It's because of the values that guide the people that live in these cities or in these countries. So African Union, by and large, has an advantage that you do value the environment. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Ubuntu tribe in South Africa, they know how to live with the environment very, very well. So when you already have an environment which you can take care of, like I say, when I talk to the Rwandan High Commissioner here in India, or the Mauritius High Commissioner here in India, that if you go to Mauritius or you go to all these places like Rwanda, etc., you don't have to talk about greening of a city or a country. It's already green. You only have to develop the country, keeping the green as it is and increasing it. That's it. And I'm happy that I just learned that Rwanda is a country that has made the environmental issues core to all its economic programs or policies in the government. So I'll just end here by saying that it is an emergency. It is not a question of sustainability. It's a question of our survival as a species. Be under no illusion. There's a link which I have. I can send it to you, Dr. Adivesi, which every day there are 5 earthquakes. Every day there are multiple cities where the water is gushing in from these flash floods and wiping out entire streets and the transport systems. So these are telltale signs. We can't take it for granted. We can't say that tomorrow is safe. I say tomorrow is unsafe. And for us all about here, we must get all the governments and the people on board to take action like tomorrow is an emergency. Care of the environment. And I perhaps would have spoken a bit about it in my first session with all of you. And they're namely, the first is on drone logistics. The second is on urban planning in a radical way where you don't disturb the existing ecosystem, even if it is a forest, and you build the urban center in like a hamlet, just like you have hamlets right now in remote areas of Africa or India, where the tribals are living. You adopt that concept with technology, disturbing the ecosystem. The third is an immediate product, which is basically where while we are making sure that the air quality which is there in the urban centers is bettered by bringing in non-polluting cars and non-polluting systems. However, there's an air filter, which is a very it's a technology that's been developed by an IIT engineer in India very cheaply, which you put on an existing AC system, and it will clean your air at 1/5 of the cost of the filters that are available in the market as of date, and you can breathe clean air. More importantly, however, that in drones and drone logistics, the idea is essentially that just like when you have cell phones, you don't need landlines. And when you don't need landlines, it means you don't need a whole lot of infrastructure in order just to communicate. In the same way, in drone logistics, you will have 1 tonner and 1.5 tonner payload drones, which will lift what trucks lift, and you won't need roads. You will not need polluting vehicles, and
you will do away with one of the biggest reasons in this planet for pollution, and which is road transport.
And that is the reason why we say we are here for solution today. Of course, always we are here for solution. So let's quickly take the closing as presentation from Sir Kapil before he goes into the meeting proper.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Sorry about the disruption. So I just wanted to basically conclude that drones and drone logistics are very radical initiatives. Perhaps in my next session, I can actually make the presentation of the impact, and I'll be ready with that. So it is my intention that the first place where in Africa we will be basing it will be in Rwanda, which already since 2016 has drone medicine delivery via Zipline, which is a Zipline company. And I'm also setting up the drone manufacturing facilities to cater to Africa in both Mauritius and Rwanda. And I'm looking at introducing these drones. Initially, it will be also smaller drones and firefighting drones. So you don't need ladders, and lives will be saved where normally it takes about 20 minutes, half an hour for a response of a fire tender. The drone fire tenders will respond within minutes, and the firemen don't have to go up the building and negotiate smoke and fire hazard. The drones will do the job, clear out the initial problems, and then the firemen can move in. So this is what the main thrust at the moment. My urban planning, urban initiatives are still at the very early stages, but the idea basically is that you don't disrupt the ecosystem, you build around the ecosystem. That is one. Two, you understand the flow of water, the flow of air, and you build the city where you allow the movement of air and any kind of flash floods that are going to happen as and when global warming increases. It's a given fact that global warming will happen. Question is 1.5 degrees, 2 degrees, we don't know. And your living ways should be adapted to it. So I will be better prepared for my next interaction with you people with presentations on the initiatives that I've just spoken about today. I am very happy that this congregation is taking place, and it's becoming a confluence of ideas, initiatives. I feel to strengthen this, we could log in all the email IDs and make a group sharing site where all these ideas and these presentations can be shared. And we can adopt these in whichever countries or cities or wherever we are all living and carry the initiative forward. That's one. Second is that if we make a template of all the aspects that actually cover our lives in totality and break them up into a structured format where which of these aspects, whether it is transportation, whether it is production of any item, whether it be tomato ketchup or whether it be clothes, that in each of these elements, as a group, which of these are we addressing, and at what stage are we in this vis-a-vis negating the impact on the environment? That would help us. It's like doing a collage or like doing a jigsaw puzzle. So we have a jigsaw puzzle map, and we say, okay, these are the blanks, these are what we are already addressing, and these are what we already fulfilled or are fulfilling in what stages. So it gives us a orientation of what we need to do. The other thing in the closing remark I'd like to say is that just like Rwanda, each country should make environment a key focus for any planning that you do. Anything, that's one. Two, that all commercial costing must include the impact on the environment. And if it's going to increase the cost of the product, so be it. Because ultimately, we all know that the pandemic set all of us back by about 5 years on a GDP basis, straight GDP basis. So in the same way, these products cannot be built by ignoring the environment. So Mother Earth has got to come in the center of everything. Right now, she doesn't exist. The other thing, last thing which I want to say is that I attended another such program where we are talking about capital for the common good. Now, what is capital? I wondered. Capital is supposed to be money in the bank. Capital is supposed to be goods, services, or whatever inputs which are good and which they have a good asset value. But the truth of the matter is that any banking system we all know is today negative in capital. There's a huge debt overhang of, and that too to a GDP ratio which is humongous. It's crazy, right? Now, if the banks are negative, then is capital? No. The only capital that I feel which we have got to now look at is Mother Earth's resources. That's the capital. Whether it is foodstuff, whether it is minerals, whether it is crude oil, whether it's water, everything is basically capital which Mother Earth owns. She's the main banker. And are we giving her interest for the capital that we have taken on loan from her? No. Are we paying for this capital that we are taking from her? No. This is what we got to keep in mind. That Mother Earth is the main banker and the only capital that we have on this planet. And if we don't take care of it, then we will be extinguished. Have no doubt about it. This civilization will go the same way that all the other civilizations have. But the advantage that we have is we have very good technology available right now, and we've got awareness, and we should do the needful. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. Yes, Mrs.
I'm happy and I'm honored to be here, and I think this is a good platform, and it's, from what I've heard so far, I think I should count myself lucky to be here. So basically I play in the IT industry, and I have over a decade of experience gotten across multiple industry. I've worked in IT industry, banking and finance industry, and then I'm currently working in the telecommunication industry. So while I heard the word sustainability, I quite agree with the last speaker. It's more about the environment and how we control it. And then for me, I think there are different set of tools that is applicable, available for us now to actually take us to the next level where we should be. So basically, I'm very passionate about information security, cybersecurity, IT governance, risk and compliance. So that is where I've been playing for a very long time, actually. Now, in the realm of security, or let me say, if you look at sustainability in its entirety, basically, in my opinion, I think we need to improve on our risk management. So proactive risk management is actually the watchword during this era, to be able to preempt what can go wrong and start putting mitigants in place to forestall such activity. About 2 or 3 years ago, I relocated to Dubai, and then I met with some like minds and fellow people from my country, just to be specific. And then we sat down and we were thinking about Nigeria as a country, we were so blessed with human resources, natural resources, almost everything that everybody will have hoped for. We have it. But then the question is, the rate at which we are developing as a nation is still like 1950, to be honest. So we think about what is it that we can do to give back to our dear nation. And then we sit down, think about the prominent issue. But basically what we've done is actually to adopt the risk management tool. What are the problems? Which one are we able to solve? And then we start from there. So for me, what have worked for me so far in my career is the ability to ask the right question. It cannot be overemphasized, the need to ask the right question. For example, if I had to do anything, be it professional, be it personal, I always ask 3 to 4 questions. The first one is why? Why am I doing this? Because that tells me the reason or what will be the benefits of actually indulging in that quest. Then the question is about what? What clearly helps me to align the objective with the goals. Then the question of where, which is not applicable all the time, to know the location where you actually want to focus on, or where to put in all your energy. And then finally, the how. How do you achieve this, right? So for me, we look at the agricultural sector, even though I have a background in electrical engineering, and then we have this premonition at that time that come 2023, 2024, Nigeria, the way we are going, we may actually have an issue in the agricultural industry. To be honest, we don't know it will be this soon. And from recent publications and then the happenings in the country, we're already heading towards that way. So we come up with some likely solution, which of course we'll discuss later on, and tells you what it is that we've done, what we are doing, and what we expect. So I don't want to take too much time. So I will give it back to the facilitator. Thank you, Dr. Said.
Thank you so much. Yes, we have.
So, sorry, if you can see my slide, can you please just indicate maybe with
yes,
the thumbs
you
up?
can see it. You can see it very clearly.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, like I mentioned, and even though I play in the IT world, we envisage that a lot of solution, a lot of problem that IT can actually combat, and one of them is the issue of agricultural produce in Nigeria. So myself and some of my friends with similar mindset, we came together and we formed a company called Azura Tech. It's currently located in Abuja, and then we are basically, our operation for now is in the north. So we plan to diversify into the south very soon, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to run you through the slide. I don't want to bore you with details. I will just run through the slide so you can get the concept. So these are the content of my presentation. I will talk about the introduction, the services, the problem, our solution, and then some of our products. So yeah, like I mentioned to you, we talked about what sustainability means to Nigeria economy as a whole. And when you look at what the UN, the AU, they've been preaching all this while, I think the whole global environment is focused on sustainability, be it energy, be it agriculture, be it job security. I think everybody now adopts the word sustainability, even within the business realm. Now, we noticed something in Nigeria. So basically, this is our service. Aside from agricultural solutions, we are into digital transformation, consultancy, and even application development. But that's so. Let's talk about the problem and what solution we provide to the problem. So basically, what we notice in the Nigeria economy when it comes to agricultural industry, we understand the affordability of the fertilizers, basically, if you look at it, the world is tending towards organic food, organic produce. But yet, we still found that we are using conventional fertilizer, which means whatever produce you have from that is basically not organic. It's inorganic, just to be clear. Now, fertilizer in Nigeria, aside from the high cost, there is also adulteration of fertilizer, and then there is largely unavailability of fertilizer, especially to the peasant farmers, not those who are producing on a large scale. And then when you look at the distribution of grants by the government, it doesn't usually cover the peasant farmers, to be honest. And then again, we look at how as Nigeria as a whole have been able to imbibe the technological knowledge into their agricultural practice. You find out that it's overwhelming that only mechanized farming, to some extent, I think to a larger percentage of probably like 50%, they adopt the recent and current technology, but not more than 50% of even the mechanized farmers. Lastly, the insecurity of farm produce. So basically, there's a problem of your produce being stolen by the thief and all those things, inappropriate security around your farm perimeter, even the ability to even monitor your staff on what they are doing on the farm. And the last thing is actually the logistic from moving your produce to the farm. Now, what is the solution? For the part of fertilizer, we come up with a solution of how to manufacture organic biofertilizer. So we are currently, I think currently we now have a biofertilizer warehouse in Kaduna. We are building one in Abuja, and then we are progressing actually, because the initial cost of this is actually kind of enormous, but the maintenance cost is pretty much less expensive, and then the operational cost as well is the same thing. It's just from the start, it looks kind of expensive. So, and then what we've done is actually to build one and now conduct tests, right? So I will talk a little bit about how the fertilizer perform later on. The second one is when you look at the maintenance and using technology to drive the farm operation, we come up with an application called Farm Management Application. On this application, what we've tried to build is we built a surveillance dashboard that you can actually see an entire section of your farm, and then you can zoom in to monitor the different farming section. And at the same time, you can easily manage your employee on the farm from that application by assigning tasks and getting daily reports from the application. And finally, we have farm advisory services. So we collaborate with lecturers, particularly in the North, that are very vast in agricultural solutions, and try to see how we can promote better agricultural practice. And as part of our application, we have a section on the application where you can actually go and see the different farming guidelines based on the kind of plants or farming you want to engage in. And to capture this, what we're proposing is actually what we call an integrated farming. So you don't have to do only crop farming. You can do the holistic crop farming, be it animal husbandry, fishery, whatever it is, even with crop farming. So now, the major product that we have is actually what we call the green glow, and this is the biofertilizer that we're producing. So what we'll do is we have it in liquid form, and then we have it in solid form, and then we've deciphered this such that we guide the farmers on what to do before they even plant and how they can apply fertilizer step by step during the period of growing their plants, and even what they should do to maximize their harvest. Now, after testing this, we employed the expertise of professionals to actually test what we have in the fertilizer, and then you can see the breakdown, the pH, the color, the organic carbon, all in a bid to try to reduce the carbon footprint on the world, actually. And what we have, when we did our testing, we planted maize, soybeans, rice, hibiscus, sesame, and
all right. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
No,
Thank you.
yeah, actually, I've got another meeting to attend, but I don't want to miss this.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
So let us continue so that
it's my pleasure.
Yes, sir. So let us continue so that we can take Sir Kapil before he joins his meeting. Yes, let us continue.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know where I lost the people. It's I'm still on the same slide. Should I continue from here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So basically, because we plan to actually find a way of commercializing this, so we had to employ the agricultural agency in Nigeria to carry out the different tests just so we can have the certification in order to start producing in large quantity and selling the produce. So basically, during our test, this is what we have as our result. We realized that the organic yield, where we use our home biofertilizer, is approximately like 50% more than the corresponding conventional yield. Subjecting them to the same environmental condition and using the same farm size to actually produce these crops. Now, in the results, this is actually during the different testing phase, we try to capture some pictures, and this is what it looks like when we are growing using our home biofertilizer. The next slide is where we did a comparison between using a conventional fertilizer, meaning the NPK of the world and all the likes, and then the biofertilizer. And from here, even you can see that the difference is kind of clear, right? Now that is about the fertilizer. So basically, now we look at how we can help the farmers to move from the local practice of farming into leveraging the technology. So this is the application we are currently building to address such problems. So on this application, we have the different roles, what the farm owner can see, what the employee on the farm can see, and how they can look at their, they can do their inventory management, how they can check the weather to plan for future activities, and how to schedule tasks and assigning tasks to the leveraging the farm guidelines that have been proofread by the professionals and guiding you what are the different steps that you can take in cultivating a particular plant. So the application, I hope that we are currently in the beta phase of the application. Hopefully by the end of April, I think we are going to go live. And then finally, we have this farm surveillance technology that we've deployed to some farms in the north, whereby you can get from your mobile application or from the comfort of our application, you can easily see what is going on your farm. You can zoom to the different sections to see what is going on. And this is actually good again for you to be able to address the security issue, maybe by alerting the security operative in the country if you notice anything going on in your farm. And one good thing about all these technologies, you don't need to log into the application before you know if there is an intruder in your farm. There are motion detection technology, and again, if there's an intruder, we've configured it in such a way that you get an alert on your mobile phone to say someone has actually intruded into your farm, and then you can log into the application, look at that section to see who is it. If it's someone that you don't know, then you can alert the security operative just to come to your rescue. I'm sorry that I have only 10 minutes. I would have loved to delve more into this. But then if you have any question, I'm always available, and then you can reach me through Dr. Said Adebisi. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wow, wow, wow. When the country is already busy looking for solutions, some group of people have gathered together to actually solve the problem. But how will the solution providers be available to the solution seeker? That is the reason why we have this very platform.